everybody. This is Mario Norman,
And I'm Zaa'Fir.
and welcome to another episode of
No love lost.
So today, basically, we want to sit back and talk about, cutting off family. I'm gonna just go ahead and get real far as in with you guys when it comes to this. You're done, family or not. I'm gonna be real with you. So that's why I'm gonna call it just like that. So we all basically dealt with a little bit of family far as that we may have to cut off just because they feel like that you are family, feel like that you are blood, does not mean that I will not cut you off. I have had situations in my life where I feel as if like family members always ask you for money. Oh, friends too. Guess what? Because that's a big damn thing that pops up, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we always have to come right back to it, bro. I came to a point, whatever, in time that I had to cut my own damn mom off, and people may look at it and be like, "Oh my god, that's your mom." But guess what though? Yeah, you brought me into this world. I'll give you that. But I always have to sit back and say, far as to anybody, right? You can get it. You can get cut off. I don't want to sit back and feel like that everything is pretty much like a regret thing. I don't like regret things, but again, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because guess what? It's still my life, far as in like how I want to be raised and how I want to treat far as the people that's around me. So when I start cutting people off, right, I don't look at it like it's a jealousy thing. No, I don't. I look at it as in like I have to go ahead and better myself. So once I'm bettering myself, I cut you off. You get what I'm saying? I'm doing it far as into best, far as in for me. And when people see that you're bettering yourself, we cut them off. Reason why? Because like I want to get farther in life. I don't want to sit back and still be in the same spot. I want to actually make something out of it or whatever. While you sit there and be still. You get what I'm saying? Shit may stink over there, but guess what? I'm trying to be clean over here. So I guess when it comes far as into family, you do have some that sit out there and actually hate on you, and it's sad to actually say it like that too, because like why be jealousy and when an envy of a person or whatever when you can sit back and smile and be like all in their faces and stuff, right? But yeah, at the same time, you really don't even know shit about them. There's a lot of family that sit out there or whatever and say, hey, I can be your friend all day, every day at the family reunion. That's the only time we really do see y'all niggas. But let's be real. Facebook is kind of like the same way too. Nobody really speaks to anybody or whatever unless it's like a own group of far as the people that's around there. So I feel as if like now how I am or whatever and shit like that give two fucks pretty much far as like how my dad is. Be honest with you. And far as when it comes to my mom, yeah, everybody feels like they're alive, but yeah, at the same time, are they really though? Because as far as in like how the shit, far as in how it is when I was growing up, and it's sad to say it like that too, but it's the God honest truth. And I'm not afraid to sit back and just be like, you know what, you shouldn't say stuff like that. But yeah, it's no love off, and I always like to keep a lot of stuff organic, and I keep it real far as with anybody who sit back and ask me. But I cut niggas off far as in for less. $2 in a bucket, fuck it. You get what I'm saying? But let me explain that to you.
So how I feel is, remember this, y'all. Discipline your children and they will give you peace. They will bring you delight and desire. It is not irritating, aggravating, disheartening, and provoking children to anger. You shouldn't do that. That's what the Bible says about parents. And parents always want to say, honor thy mother and thy father. That's all they remember. But you're not supposed to provoke, irritate, or be disheartening or hurtful to your children. That's what the Bible says as well. And people fail to realize, to understand that you, just because you're a parent, doesn't mean you get to do what you want to another human being. Because even if I came through you, you're the portal, but I'm the gift. Okay, and what I mean by that is we're a gift from the Lord. That's all children. That's your mother, that's me. Everybody that comes from a mother, which we all do, we're a gift from the Lord. So if that's the case, you can't mistreat us and then expect us to stay around you and honor you. Because you say our days will be shortened if we dishonor you. But your days will be too if you provoke and hurt and be disheartening. So the thing about it is, like with my mom, I have the same issue. I cut my mother off over a year ago. And I feel that we have to remember that we have to take that title away from people and accept them for who they are. And sometimes you have to understand that people can be disheartening. Your parents can be provoking. Your parents, your fathers could be hurtful. Your parents, and it's not just parents; it's siblings too. Siblings will sit here and do real fucked up shit and just expect you to be cool with it because they're your sibling. My sister stole $600 from me in 2016. I ain't talked to her since. I have no hatred for her now, but guess what? I told her, when you stole from me, you crossed the line. When you took from me, you crossed the line. So it's okay to sit here and remove myself. I don't care that I remove myself because ultimately I had to do it for me. Like even recently now, my sister is mad at me because of me getting married. I went to the courthouse, to the magistrate, because my wedding is at the end of this year anyway. And I invited the people that I felt supported me ultimately the most and who I trusted and who I wanted signed on my marriage license, right?
We look
So
good though.
Huh?
We look good.
We
Though.
look shy.
Yeah, we
So
good.
that's
We
what the
good.
nigga said too when
Yeah, he's
when
like,
we
bro,
got there.
y'all shy. Like y'all
He said,
shy.
y'all
Y'all
motherfuckers
shy.
shy.
Y'all motherfucking shy. Like
So I had Mario there, and then I had my best friend Moses there from the Bronx. He came down. I kind of messed up because I told him on a Wednesday or a Tuesday, and I said, well, if you can make it, and he was like, well, you kind of should have been told me, but I'm gonna be there. So I was
he
like,
was there though.
yeah.
No, when I
And he
say
was like,
when I say he was there though, bro was
my
there.
bro went to work 6 that morning, got off work at 3 that afternoon, got to the airport at 5. He got to the airport, I think, a little after 4. And then he was on the flight by 5:59. Mm-hmm. Okay. And he was in Raleigh by 7 something that night, 7:30 or something like that. And once Maurice and them got back, we did what we did. We got married, right? So she feels like I was keeping secrets from her or whatever. I said, I don't owe you anything when it comes to my relationship. My relationship is my relationship between him and I. I said, and technically, I said, if Maurice's mother could have came, I said, somebody wouldn't have been able to come anyway. Right. I said, because my whole thing is, it was if Moses couldn't come, Mario was going to be, that's who I wanted there was Mario. That's who I wanted there for me. So, I always had it set like, oh, Mario's coming for me. And if Maurice's mother can't come, I'll see about Moses coming or something like that, because we wanted people there like we know, we trust, and that support us. So she wanted to be there. I understand that, but we was only allowed 2 witnesses. They were very strict. We couldn't even have no phones. We couldn't record. None of that. We had to do all our pictures at the house, and basically they were very strict about it. We went at 10 o'clock at night. So the point is, she's mad about it and she feels some type of way. So I told her, I need you to understand something. I set boundaries. And she had asked me the day before, like, oh, can you take mommy to the doctor? Or can you get mommy an Uber? I said, why are you texting me about this? Why are you telling me about stuff like this? I don't told you I don't talk to my mother. I don't mess with her. And I told you. So the next day I was at work at night and I thought about it. I said, you know what? Let me be more clear. I said to my sister, I said, you're crossing boundaries that I don't appreciate. I said, moving forward, I would prefer that anything that has to be done with our mother, that you do not include or ask or speak to me about it in any manner. I said, lying. Because I'm in a place where I don't mess with her and she don't mess with me, even though she's living in an apartment in my name, even after she did the things she did. Right. So and then I also told her, I said, after talking to my therapist and thinking about it, I said, I have to remove all toxic entities in my life, even if I'm not in communication. Her having an apartment in my name and she don't fuck with me and I don't fuck with her, not to be mean about it. I said, once the lease is up, I said, I'm not putting my name back on it. I'm not renewing it. I'm done. I said, so you need to figure that out. You and her need to figure that out. I said, I have to remove myself. And I said, please just do not bring this up again. This bitch texts. Oh, I'm sorry. she texts me like 5 minutes later. Oh well, I'm here for your healing and I respect your healing. She said, and then she gonna text me like a half an hour later. You should remove me from your life as well. Yes. So I said,
I didn't know that.
So this is what I said.
What'd you say?
Okay.
Just okay. Did you thumbs up it?
No, I just wrote okay. Why?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. I said, I don't fight for people to be in my life. I said, if you want to be here, you'll be here. If I want you here, you'll be here. If I don't want you here, you won't. Man. And that's the problem. I said, people have to stop. That's manipulation right there. Yeah. And they do. And that's what goes back to another episode we just did about relationships. Stop being narcissistic, because I'm going to be 100% real about anybody in my life. If you say you want to leave, I'm going to allow you to, because I'm not here to keep you if you don't want to be here. And it doesn't matter who you are.
Well, honestly, it goes back. Hold up now. Because when them days when I was quiet, when he told me that, that bitch ain't talked to me today.
Who?
You.
Oh yeah, I sure did.
He said, that bitch. I was just quiet.
Yeah, but see, I'm honest with my friends. I'll tell you, I'll talk the shit, but it's never anything personal. It's more so of a reaction of feeling like you closed off. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference, because when you love people in your family and your friends, even when you're mad at them or you're confused to what's going on with them, do not, and this is a word of advice, never make it personal. Don't take it personal and don't make it personal, which that means is don't bring up anything that has nothing to do with the topic at hand.
Speaking of that, a lot of stuff was said at hand or whatever, stuff like that. Really don't want to touch on that, but I'm just saying, do not weaponize anything that we sit there and we tell you in general, in public, right, or in private. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Don't use what I say to you for as a weapon. Please don't do that. I hate when people do shit
Oh,
like
you're
that because
gone.
because
You're
just like
gone.
you're gone. Because think about it. We're gonna sit back. We're gonna look at it. Oh, why don't you tell me stuff no more? We're gonna look at you like you fucking retarded. Like, yo, think about it, right? I'm not afraid to admit that. You know what I'm saying? I went through my depression state. I went through my depression state, and at one point in time, or whatever, I promised you guys, I said I was gonna be stronger than that, and I am. You get what I'm saying? But it was a point in my time where I felt as if like I did not want to be here anymore. I sat back, I said it, regardless as far as how my son is. I love my son to death. Yes, I do. But only thing I'm saying is when it came down to that, I sat back, I told my mom, I expressed it. I said, you know what, I don't even want to be here. She sat back, she cried, you know what I'm saying, gave me the whole nip story and stuff like that. And then once I actually made it down there, the first 2 days, I always sit back and tell y'all like it's like this, right? I can only be down there for 3 days. I give you 72 hours. I'm gonna tell you why I only give you 72 hours. By the third day, I know a nigga's asking for money. All right. The first day, it can go good, however you want to do it. I made it down there. First day, everything was good. There you go. You know what I'm saying? That's the first 24 hours. I'm gonna kick Zeus ass. But anyway, the second day or whatever stuff like that, I call it iffy. I always say it's an iffy day, right? When I made it down there, my mom basically sat back and told me straight up, like, "Hey, I said I'm finna go get me some food. I'm finna go to Wendy's. Oh, can you get the kids them something to eat too?" Or whatever shit like that. Oh, and he's also hungry. Her nigga or whatever. Her nigga is also hungry or whatever is in his house or whatever. But he has no money. But he's hungry back there in the back. I sat back and said that nigga
So
ain't got
cook
no
for
money.
him.
No, that's what I'm saying. But I said, oh, so that nigga ain't got nothing to eat. You get what I'm saying? You got to go ahead and get him something. So with that being said, bro, proceed. He get in the car with me or whatever. My grandma basically sat back and gave me the rundown story too. Hey, just to let you know, he put his hands on your mama or whatever before you had got here.
Why
So
your grandma tell you that? Because if your mama wasn't leaving,
that's narcissistic behavior. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So, but y'all set boundaries of that. So when people actually look at shit like that, they think the shit is okay and it's not. But to finish this off, right? We get in the car or whatever, shit like that. We're going to Wendy's or whatever. He basically sit back and tell me as a man, like, hey, I didn't put my hands on your mama. She basically rushed me or whatever to the point where I had to defend myself. That's what I'm saying. So I was like, okay,
And
cool.
you know your mother, whatever that may be.
Yeah, and I do. A nigga at heart. But like I said, so she basically did that or whatever and shit like that, right? So when we get there, get some food or whatever and shit, call it a day, cool. He tried
You
to get
bought him some food?
I bought him some food. I got him a 4 for 4.
Real nigga shit? Oh, 4 for 4. Oh, he a child.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah. Like, what you
I'm
thought?
gonna son you, nigga.
Yeah, you think I'm about to what? Hell no,
You ain't
bitch.
about to get no number 2.
No, I really gave this nigga a 4 for 4. He got a 4 for 4, right? So we make it back. He talking to me or whatever, trying to get some information or whatever. He's like, "Oh, why you don't come down as much?" Because I said this and I quote, right? I said, "Because I only give y'all 3 days." I said, by the third day, I know a nigga's asking for money or whatever and shit like that, right? Cool, bet. I got to go. He laughs just like that.
Wait a minute. I'm glad you said that. Finish this story because I got something to say.
No, I'm for real. So by the third day, niggas sit back and they ask you for money, right? So later on, right, coming far as into it, talking to my mom, them or whatever, we were in there playing cards. I kid you not, right? So basically they arguing or whatever and shit like that, right? And next thing you know, my mom's friend is basically saying like, hey, if I was here, that nigga wouldn't put his hands on you. And I was like, oh, you right. You motherfucking right or whatever. So they back and forth, they just arguing. Oh, you ugly bitch. Oh, that's why you look like this. And they some ugly motherfuckers. And I'm not even gonna lie to you. They're some ugly ass niggas. But the moral of the story is, as far as in what I took was, your friend is sitting here defending you, saying, if I was here, I would have protected you farther from another nigga.
Yeah,
putting
we
his
would have
hands on
jumped
you.
that
We
nigga
would've
together.
jumped him. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's how I looked at it. So my
Yeah.
mom's cutting the cards, right? And then she just slapped her with the cards. I kid you not. Slapped the shit out of her.
No shade, no disrespect to your mother, but her friend should have jumped up and handled business.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, for real. No, but
I'm sorry.
but it's
You ain't
true.
gonna disrespect me
But
in front
it's
of
true.
people.
I mean, like, when I say pow,
Now,
I
if
mean,
she
like,
would have pulled her to the side and said, you shouldn't talk about this topic.
She should have, but
yeah.
The way how my mom is, right, and it's so narcissist. She yells, right?
Yeah.
She's the
talks
over. You get what I'm saying? But when you get on her, she cries. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's one of those moments. So she gets upset or whatever, shit like that, start cursing, everything like that, going off or whatever, shit like that, right? Oh, fuck you, bitch. And I said, yo, and they made me mad, bro, because, like, only reason why it made me mad is because I was like, yo, this bitch is sitting here saying that. No, sorry, I said it because I was mad. I was like, yo, she's sitting here letting you know that if she was here, she would have protected your dumb ass. You get what I'm saying? So fuck that nigga. So guess what this so basically what she says to me is, oh, because you need to shut the fuck up anyway. That's how my mom speaks to me, right? You need to shut the fuck up anyway, because by the third day, you got to get the fuck up out of here anyway, right? Because a nigga want to ask for money, right? I turned, I looked at
What did
that
you
nigga.
say to him?
I said, use a bitch. I said, use a bitch ass nigga anyway.
And what else did you say? You a pillow what?
Oh, pillow talking ass nigga.
So why my sister gonna call me a pillow ass talk? I've been waiting to enter the chat. So my sister, we get into an argument last week. She gonna say, "Oh, cause you pillow talking, da da da, to your man." I said, "One, that's my husband."
You're right.
I said, "Correct yourself."
Correct.
I said, and one thing about it is, it's true, which y'all can hear on No Love Lost 2.0. Stop telling people your business. That episode came out last week. I said, 90% of what people tell me, I'm gonna tell my man. You know,
but
I said, but hold on.
He's telling the truth.
I said, but the things that are not necessary for them to know, right, I will not repeat. Like if you're going through something, you depressed, your baby mama cheating on you, your bitch acting up, you're something with your kids, I'm not gonna go there. But if it's a general thing where you know I'm home in the bed, my nigga right there, it is what it is. He gonna hear. Unless you say, can you step away? Or are you alone? I do step away. So, yeah. But the thing about it is, what she said I was pillow talking about is, it wasn't her business.
Right.
It was, but it wasn't her actual personal business. It was how I felt about her motherhood.
Gotcha.
So it wasn't, to me, I didn't feel like I was a pillow talking ass nigga, because it wasn't nothing like she told me her secrets. No,
this is
it was a feeling that I had, and I said, I don't know how to communicate it to her. I said, because I feel like it's going to blow up and be a big disagreement.
So did it blow up?
I didn't speak about it to her to that day. And you know what? The thing about it is, she's a female, she's my sister, but she was like, oh, basically I told her I don't like her motherhood. I don't like the way her kids are raised. Her kids is bad. I just told her, I said, you are not being a good mother. You put a nigga first before your kids, and you fell off. You know, so she was like, oh, and yeah, and you was telling Maurice, you a pillow talking ass nigga. I said, that's not pillow talking. That's how I felt. And I asked my man, how do I communicate that to my sister? I said, because I don't want to upset her, but she needs to know, because I want her to do better.
So basically, you was trying to make sure that she was okay to protect her feelings in a sense.
Yes, because she's always saying, "Oh, I don't want to be like our mother," and our mother would call my sisters bitches and hoes, and call me fat black ass niggas and all that.
Your mama was a thug.
Yeah, you know, and wishing death upon us and shit like that. So, yeah, my mom had my sister. I think my older sister, my mom, one time after we went to Wandinge Day. You probably don't know what that is, but it's something y'all New Yorkers know what that is in Long Island. We went to Wandinge Day, and my sister wanted to go home. We was at my godmother's house. Quick story, and my mom closed my sister's mouth where she had to drink out of a straw.
Shit.
Nah, my mom really is like that. no, like when I was a kid, I was with my mom when we'd be at the park in Queens, and my mom be like, "Oh, I've been waiting for that bitch," and my mom had a new broomstick one day. My godmother, we was all there. My godmother was like, "I'm ready when you ready," and I'm like, "What the hell going on?" Like, I'm 7 or 8. And we in the village.
Hey, look, I'm not even gonna lie, bro. Them brooms back then, them bitches.
Yeah, we in the village.
The wood shit.
Yes, we in the village. My mom said, Barbara. I remember her name because my mom fought her about 3-4 times, beat her up every time she saw her. She said, every time I see you, I'm gonna beat your ass. So I don't know what they beef was, because I was young. So she sat up here, just broke her broom on Barbara. She said, "Ooh, bitch, I'm mad." I said, "I just bought this broom. I needed a broom. I just broke it. You gonna buy me another broom?" And then my mom just started whooping her ass, right? So my mom really is like that. But, you know, when she was like that, you know, I done see my mom beat Barbara up, put her, you know, like you work at the grocery store and they got the little, what was it, the turnstile thing? Yeah, my mom picked that big bitch up and threw her on there. Whack, 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 whack. So she really is built like that back in the day. So she sat up here and was like, oh, yeah, because mommy told me you was talking about my kids. I said, no, I said, your kids were dirty. And I said, I don't like the way you raised them and that you put a man before your kids. Yes, I did say that. I said that. I did say that. I said, and your mother agreed. I said, so she told you in anger. I said, but how you think we had the conversation?
Is that
I said, we had the conversation together, and she took it like I was just talking about it.
Yeah, like you did it by yourself.
I didn't say it. Yeah, right. I said what I said, and she was like, oh, and if you talk about my kids, I'll beat y'all ass in here. And I said, ooh. I said, respectfully, it's time for you to leave my home. Yeah. I said, because I'm going to tell you like this. Sister, brother, cousin, family member, friend, I don't give a fuck who you are. You ain't never gonna tell me in my shit that you gonna beat my ass. I said, cause I said, and I told her, I said, cause you wouldn't even leave. I said, you won't get out of here. I said, and I said, respectfully, never threaten me like that. I said, cause you know how we was raised. I said, we're one and the same. Remember that. I'm you. You're me. So we can go there. I said, no, for real. I said,
wait, so you was about to.
Yeah, I just told her, I said, we can go there. I said, but if you want to go there, let me lock the door. I said, let me lock the door and put my top lock on.
Chill.
I did. No, respectfully, I just
respectfully,
said, I said, don't ever tell me in my shit
but
you're going to beat my ass.
The top lock, though, bro?
Oh, yeah, because, you know, y'all got the 3 locks.
Yeah.
But I'm going to make sure that chain is on.
But the only thing I didn't like is where you know, the shout to the world. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, when she did some inappropriate things.
Like
some things I told her about, some things that transpired between me and my husband. Maybe almost 2 years ago now.
Yeah,
almost.
It is.
You like, oh, da da da, you know, screaming it to the block. I'm like, yo, let's lock the top lock and let's get it shaking, baby. You know, like I told her, I said, because we siblings.
Yeah,
you know, it's not like you a female in the street and none of that.
Nah,
we have been fighting all our lives. We are siblings. We grew up in the household together. We have the same father, same mother. Let's get it shaken, because one thing about it is I don't hit females, but I will hit my sister. You know,
that's different.
It's different.
No, it's different. It's really different.
It's really different. But I can take it easy on you.
No, for real, I can beat my sister ass.
Yeah, I'll beat your ass. You my sister.
You my sister.
Yeah.
But if it's a random female, like,
no, I'm not doing that. I will call my sister for you.
Yeah.
You know, so I told her, I said, respectfully, I said, you crossed the line now. I said, because it was never nothing about anything physical.
Right.
I said, and you bringing it to a level that, I said, now, respectfully, you have the right to be upset. That's your choice. I said, but that is how I feel. And then when I started listing different things and activities that transpired that I won't say that she has done that was inappropriate or I didn't like on her children, she was like, oh, that's not true. That's not true. I said, well, I have somebody that can confirm it, but I'm not going to involve anybody because this is between you and I. Right. I said, so I'm not going to call. I'm not going to call nobody out here. I'm not going to tell my husband to come. I'm not going to tell nobody else. I'm not calling nobody about things that I had conversation with them about, because this argument is you and I. I said, but trust me, I'm not saying it just in this argument. It's things I've said months ago, even a year ago.
So it's nothing surprising.
No, like people, like my husband knows exactly what it is, but I was like, I'm not adding him to this, but you added him to this because you're disrespecting him, trying to hurt me because you have nothing to say about me.
And that's one thing I don't like.
And I said, I said, even if we had a forgiveness, I said, I told her, I said, you will never be able to come in this home again. I said, because this is I said, yes, I may have bought it, but my husband made it a home. I said, so with that being said, you will not disrespect him in his home. I said, oh, I don't care if this is his home. This is your house. You pay the bills. We pay the bills. Yeah. I said, you don't know my business. And I said, you think we closer than what we are. I said, and we're not. I said, it's always people calling me their best friends. People telling other people, oh, we so close. That's my closest brother. I'm closest sister to him. I don't really mess with people like that. And it's not that I don't mess with my sister. It was just like, we're not as close as you think, honey. And it's not because I don't trust her to keep my secrets. It's more so, it's something about my family that I just don't trust them as a whole.
Like JJ Ice.
Like I would feel more uncomfortable in a room with my family than I'll be in a room with 30 white men. That's true. That's the symbolicness of how bad they make me itch.
Let's just put it like this. It's your boy Mario again. Non-toxic.
Let those family members go that do not respect you. Let the title of who a person is go that does not respect you. Because your value does not go to who was in your life. Like Monique said it best, the comedian.
Yes.
About her family, because her brother used to molest her. And her parents knew, and nothing happened about it. And then Oprah brought them on her show. That's why she don't like Oprah. She said, because you knew what happened to me, it happened to you too. And then you bring my violator and my family on your show and have a conversation without me, and something that you told me you wouldn't do. So
it didn't matter.
To tie it up, basically what I'm saying is, Monique said on the Shannon Sharp show, it's a great interview. She said, I enjoyed my time with you when I had my time with you, but that no longer serves me. I thank you for that time we spent together, but now I'm going to move on and create the family that I choose to create. It's okay to move on. Do not tie yourself to people by blood relation. Blood relation means nothing, because that whole loyalty and blood and family shit, Ultimately, the resume of who a person is as a person, if you take their title away, that's what's most important. You know, the most important thing about a person is not the title that they have, it's the who they are. And that's the course of action of how they live their life and how they treat you and how they make you feel. If people try to make you feel inferior or less than or envious of you, remove yourself from situations, because let me tell you something. The most dangerous people are people who hate you and smile in your face. And they'll sit in the audience of your life to look for failure.
And honestly, bro's not lying to you guys as far as when he says that. Like people who sit back and envy you the most, right? They will actually sit back, laugh, smile, all this stuff like
And they
that,
want
just
to know
waiting.
your business.
They want to, and but not only that, they're waiting on your downfall. They're waiting on every last part of you, so that way when you fall or whatever and shit like that, they think that you actually need them as far as to pick up. You don't always have to reach their hand out. No, you don't. But then again, like I said, right, we make the most of far as out of anything that we sit back and we do in life. It's okay to cut people off. It's okay to actually move on far as in with life. You don't always have to necessarily have certain people in your life or whatever to support you. No, you don't. That's why we create our families along the way because, long time ago or whatever and stuff like that, right, bro? We meet people. Doesn't matter how long you know them. It doesn't matter like far as in
Yeah,
how
and
we
she gonna
met.
say last thing. Oh, you only knew Mario 8 months. I said that's not true. I said me and Mario have been close for a little over a year. I said, but I met him 2 years ago. I said it doesn't matter the time frame, like you said, that I've known him. I said he has shown me that he is a brother. I said that he is a friend. He is somebody that I could be confident to explain stuff to me and correct me. Even though he's younger than me, I always call him my little bro, a little dog, or whatever. I'm the
Bitch,
big
you
dog.
called me a chihuahua
Yeah,
today.
I thought I said a
A
Yorkie.
Yorkie.
Oh, shit, I was loose out here. But on some real shit, I also say the time frame you know somebody does not prove anything. A person that can come in your life for 5 days can show you more than a person who's been in your life 10 years, y'all.
That's true.
And don't go ahead, Mario, wrap it up.
You guys don't let the beginning of your day ruin the rest of your day. And just know this is No Love Lost. You can catch us on all streaming platforms and also check out No Love Lost too. We also have you guys as far as on YouTube itself at No Love
Type in
Lost.
No Love Lost Pod 24, y'all.
Thank
I
y'all.
go
Thank y'all.
live every single day, at least twice a day.
Yes, he does.
And I post videos every day. We got vlogs up there. We got some funny videos up there. We actually have some of these episodes that, like I was telling y'all, the episodes are now linked to the YouTube, so you can find it on there as well. And I appreciate all the love that we continue to be shown. Like I said, we're gonna continue to push this out. And remember, one
Love.
love.
All I gotta say is
Say it.
shoo shoo
Shoo-shoo-ba-da-dee-ba-ba-ba-ba.